Super Fire Pro Wrestling 3 Final Bout was released in 1993 as part of the Fire Pro Wrestling series. Due to a large number of complaints received about the game's difficulty, Human released Super Fire Pro Wrestling 3 Easy Type, which is actually the version I own. The main difference in it, apart from substantial lowering of the difficulty, is the fact that all of the hidden wrestlers are unlocked from the start. The first thing you'll notice once you get past the vast screen of Japanese writing, which represents your choices, is what I think it's safe to call a massive list of characters. You'll scroll through some of them going, no idea who he is, oh he looks neat, and then you'll fall upon American wrestling stars, most of which you'll likely know, such as Hulk Hogan, Sting, Rick Steiner, the Ultimate Warrior. Each wrestler is ranked based on their attacking ability, their defensive ability, and their running speed. There are approximately 60 wrestlers in total, which if you compare this number to other wrestling games which were released roughly back in this sort of time period, is darn impressive. Another interesting thing to note is that the original version of this game, Super Fire Pro Wrestling 3 Final Bout, was the first game worked on by the now famous Suda51. The game initially looks quite simple. The graphics, they're not that great, but the game controls well. Has all the moves you'd expect in a wrestling game, punching, grappling, running, etc. The game's full of little things which make you warm to it though. I obviously don't have a massive knowledge of 90s Japanese wrestlers, but I've picked every single WWF, WWE and WCW star who appears on the roster. I've been able to work out who they are. The name's in Japanese, so this has been done purely based on the fact of who they obviously look like. And, you know, it's quite easy to tell who they're supposed to be. And I've played as them. Instantly noting that the moves they use are moves frequently used by their real-life counterparts. The Warrior does the gorilla press, Hulk Hogan does his signature leg drop, and so on and so on. There are digitised sounds that come from the wrestlers and cheers that come from the audience members. The music is fitting, and overall this all adds to the experience. Two of the buttons on your controller are used for strong blows, another button's used for low blows, and the other face button makes you run. The language is a bit of a barrier. It took me a bit of messing around choosing this option and that option, with no idea of what I was selecting. But once I got myself into the career mode, it was easy enough to play round after round and make some progress, and I have to admit that I was enjoying it. If someone was interested in this game, I wouldn't say that it's too heavy going, but you need to be the kind of person willing to work around a language barrier. The score I'm giving to this game is 6.5. This score's not an overall mark of the game's quality, it's a mark of how much fun your typical English Super Nintendo fan would have with it. Taking into consideration issues such as having to fiddle with the language, how the game's aged, I think if you were someone who could read Japanese when this game came out, you'd have found it the absolute mutts nuts. It would have been an easy 8 or 9 out of 10. If you're after this, well, it might be hard. I've seen a few copies of the regular version of this for around £13. Some box, some cart only. But you'll need a Japanese machine or an import converter or a modified Super Nintendo. As for the exact version I've reviewed, the Easy Type version, at the time of doing the research for this review, I couldn't find a single copy on sale. It's an interesting game. I'd recommend you to read about it, watch videos on it, but I think your money in this case is better spent elsewhere, either on a more modern wrestling game with all the bells and whistles, or something a little easier and cheaper to get on the SNES. I hope you've enjoyed this review.